Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first video of our Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Loud Project Let's Play. Wow, that is a mouthful. So what is Supreme Commander, though, for those who don't know? Well, Supreme Commander Forge Alliance is a game that was released in 2007 by gas-powered games that have unfortunately gone the way of the dodo. But just because the dodos have left the island does not necessarily mean there aren't people on the island, you know, cracking the eggs, as it were. So what does that mean? Basically, there are people that are still modifying Supreme Commander to this very day. So who are those people? Well, there's those people at the ForgeAllianceForever.com that allow you to place a Forge Alliance online against other people. Those people are doing a fine job keeping Supreme Commander alive and well. There's also the Total Mayhem, they're gone but still very good. There's Black Ops, who are gone, but also very good. There's also the very recently updated Brewland mod, but there's also this mod, which I wanted to show off as well, which is called the Loud Project. Now, what is Loud Project? Loud Project basically goes into Supreme Commander Forge Alliance and rips out a huge chunk of things that the developer felt were no longer useful or felt wrong or bad, which I think he did a very good job of doing. He's taken some pretty terrible things in the game, such as the AI, which if you've played real-time strategy games, if you're familiar, if you're an RTS veteran, you know that the AI in a lot of these games are pretty garbage. Nobody really works on them a lot, and they're very basic and simple, and they don't really provide a lot of challenge. So this developer, Sprouto, I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, or I've got it way off, I apologize if I am, has pretty much went into the AI in Supreme Commander, the vanilla classic Supreme Commander Forge Alliance AI, and ripped it out and replaced it with his own AI. So it's completely different. So the AI now acts a lot better than it did previously. It acts a lot better, a lot more responsive. It knows how to react to you. It will actively look for weaknesses in your defenses and try to exploit them. It's very nice AI, and I like playing with it, and it's what I've been doing on my off time whenever I don't develop or been doing any other videos. So I think I want to get started playing. I've done the classic. This is a very classic map, Setton's Clutch. A lot of Supreme Commander veterans love playing on this map, and it's no surprise as to why. You get land, you get the air, you get the naval game. It's no surprise. So we're just going to get started here. So for those who aren't familiar with Supreme Commander, some things have changed quite a lot. I'm playing with a lot of sort of side mods. Let me just pause it one more time. So the interesting thing about what the developer did or has done with the Loud Project as well is he's not only replaced the AI, but he's also meshed a lot of the most popular mods into the Supreme Commander game. So it's not just like, how can I explain, take a soup and then throw a potato in it and call that a mod. He's actively taken the potato and made it work with the soup to where now it's like a stew, right? You don't really recognize it as being separate. It fits. So I have a lot of mods activated that come with the Loud Project mod. So right now this thug comes from the Total Mayhem mod, but he has gone to Total Mayhem. He has his own special, unique version of Total Mayhem that is special and unique only to the Loud Project. Whereas the Total Mayhem mod would have the thug, but it looks way different and acts way differently. So this is his unique sort of expression, I would say, of how that mod should be represented. So this is what that is. I think he did a very good job. Very good job indeed. So let's get started once again. So I'm just going to start building up here. Also, if you want to play Supreme Commander, there's some rules, just a good build order. A lot of people, in my experience, or some people, might find Supreme Commander a little bit confusing. And not so much. I don't think it's that confusing. Its economy works off of, let's get some power going as well. You need at least 2 power if you're just pumping out engineers like this. Get that engineer. Start getting some mass extractors. Mass extractors are basically like oil derricks. If you've ever played, say, Command and Conquer, Red Alert 2, and you've captured an oil derrick, these are basically that, without going too far into the explanation. So how it works is basically you have unlimited resources, but they come at a certain rate. So what base? So sorry, the words. So right now we have 2 mass coming in. So that means if I produce something that's like -8 mass, I'm going to be losing a lot of mass. Obviously. So the idea is to find an equilibrium where you're sort of like floating between +1 and -1 to where you're losing mass, but not so much to where you're in the red. If you're in the red, like if you have no mass at all in the storage, then you start producing units a whole lot slower. And if you are in the red with energy and mass, then you'll be like not really producing anything at all. It'll just like cancel out completely. It'll just say like, yeah, you're not building anything. You will still be able to build, but like the rate will be increased by an astronomical amount. Like the time will take to build something like as small as a Mech Marine, this takes 3 seconds, will now take like 33 seconds to if you lose all like your power and your mass. So what produces power? So if you know that mass extractors produce the mass, what produces power? Well, obviously power plants. So these produce power at a yield of 20. So having an understanding of basic math will go way ahead, will take you, how should I say, will take you far in Supreme Commander, knowing your pluses and minuses. Very simple mathematics. Part of the rule of thumb is you kind of want a lot more power coming in, as much as you can. Though not so much that it's sort of just eating into your mass. You want to find that sort of balance, that equilibrium. You almost have to be almost like a Buddhist monk to play this game. Probably not. I'm sure a lot of people would say, oh, that's going a little bit too far there. You don't have to be some sort of spiritualist, finding the perfect balance to everything. Though it would be beneficial for you to do so. Like right now, what I'm doing is actually kind of wrong. I shouldn't really be producing this much power this early on. What I want to do is to be able to upgrade my mass extractors. Though in the Loud project, you can see the yield there, right? I wish I could show you. It just disappears. But in the bottom left, you see build cost 900 and the yield. Well, this is, you can upgrade your mass extractors to produce more mass per second. So right now it's producing 2 mass, and if I want to upgrade it, it will produce 6 mass per second, but -48 power. So actually what I did right there was probably the right choice. Just start producing power. So you see right here that I have these little lines going into my building. So what does that do? So it's called adjacency. Sorry, I'm stuttering. It's called adjacency. So basically what it does, let's turn on the economy. So you can probably see the little cost there. Let's do it again. So right now it costs 120 at a rate of 38 power per second for that light assault ball. But if I click on it, you can see it says 33. So what adjacency does basically is give you a discount. So if this costs, say, 64 power, now it costs 56 power, right? So you get a little bit of a discount, so it doesn't cost so much. Same thing if you built a land factory besides, say, a mass extractor, you would also get like a discount on the mass that was required for, say, a tank or a light assault bot, things of that nature. So that's always fun. So what I'm going to do right now is because... So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to upgrade my mass extractor because I have the mass for it. So now I'm perfectly equal, plus and minus. So I have 0 coming in, 0 being lost. That's pretty much perfect. But, you know, I don't really want to be floating on my mass storage. I want to spend it. So I want to produce 4 power plants here. For tier 1 power generators, I should say. Now what this will do is, because this is taken up, oh sorry, I should show this thing. So this yield, it says -48 right underneath the 6 there. It says -48, so that's basically -48 power per second. So again, this is where the basic math comes in. So basically these two take 20. So if I made 3, I have 60. So that means I'm gaining like +10 or around there. You don't have to be perfect at math, just like know the basics basically. So the logic is you want to be gaining more power than you're losing. You always want to stay in the green when it comes to power. Not so much with mass. You kind of want to be spending and gaining and sort of dancing between gaining and spending, you know, that sort of thing. But for power, you just want to be in the green constantly. You never really want to be losing power. So that's basically the logic here. So right now, this is just going to get to rank 2. You can also assist buildings. So this Armored Command Unit, this ACU, so how the mode basically works at... Sorry. So how the mode basically works is it's like protect the president. So if your ACU dies, then you lose the match. So the focus is protecting your guy. See, you even have your name underneath, Goldie. So you have to protect your little president from all sorts of threats. So right here, as you can see, it says minus 36. So why is that? Why is it minus 36, whereas over here it's minus 48? Because of the adjacency bonus that you get. So if there is, say, something that's taken up power per second, oh, this costs like 38 power for like the upkeep or whatever. If you build some power generators beside it, it will cost less per second. So this is why this is a good idea. Of course, this is all unique. This is all very, very unique to the Loud project mod, where I have extra little mods activated that are unique to... Oh, what's happening? Oh, nothing. Okay, where I have basically a lot of mods that are basically unique to it. As you can see, if you've ever played Supreme Commander, you'll notice I don't have storage. Basically, I'm saying basically a lot. Oh, what's over here in the corner? Nothing. Okay. So what was I gonna say before I was rudely interrupted? What was he gonna say? Oh my god. Oh yeah, storage. So if you played Supreme Commander, it doesn't have storage because the storage is now included. Let's just upgrade quickly. Right there. So that's technically where you would get your storage. So increases output, HP, regen, adds 250 mass storage. So what the developer of the Loud project does is, in order to increase the performance of the game, which is another thing that he did, he also increased the performance of the game to an astronomical rate. So now the game should run extra smooth, buttery smooth, because he's removed a lot of things that no longer he's felt necessary to do so. That, well, I should say no longer feels or useful to the game. So he just includes it in the building. So right now this would be where you get your sort of mass storage, is by just upgrading your mass extractors to the max. This is technically Tech 4, advanced mass extractor and storage. That's technically Tech 4. Technically. So I think I'll just continue on, just sort of wrapping around here and then teching up to Tech 2. I should get more mass. Oh, yeah, there's one more mass extractor made just special just for me. So the AI is pretty smart. It kind of knows not to snag your mass extractors. It kind of knows, as you can see, they're not really sending out any engineers. The original or vanilla, I should say, AI would just like snag whatever extractor wasn't grabbed, even if it was like in the middle of your base, which is very frustrating. But luckily, the Loud project guy, Sprouto, I'm still not probably saying that correctly, I apologize again. He's programmed the AI to where it will no longer do that, or at least as far as I know in this sort of scenario, it's not really doing that. It's sort of leaving my stuff alone, thank goodness for that. So yeah, I'm just gonna build this up here, and then we'll go from there. So after you get sort of all your economy going, which you'll be doing for quite a while, you probably want to start producing some more factories, land or air. So what's also interesting about Supreme Commander is that you, unlike other real-time strategy games, oh, let's do that up. I have an OCD problem where I want things to be perfect. Hold on. Yeah. You know what, I'm gonna get rid of this. Yeah. And then I'll build it. Okay, so unlike other real-time strategy games, what makes Supreme Commander very unique as a game is that it has a very strong combined arms factor. You get the land game, obviously you get the air game, and you also have access to Navy. Okay, and not only that, it's not... These units don't really feel like... It's hard to describe, like, not toys. They feel like they could exist within their own universe. They feel authentic. They don't just feel like army soldiers pounding away at each other. Like, for example, you get to tier 3 as a naval, when you have a naval yard, you produce a battleship and it feels like a battleship. It feels like there's a punch to it, there's a strength to the shots, and that's kind of something you don't really get in a lot of RTS these days. They kind of feel, I wouldn't say kiddish, but I guess, yeah, I guess that would be it. They do feel like they're made a little bit more for children. This feels a little bit more. God, I'm stuttering all day today. Feels a lot more adult, I should say. Which is something you don't really get in a lot of RTSs these days. They're all very, I don't know, basic. I don't know. Anyways. Not only that, you also get these large maps, which don't really exist in a lot of real-time strategy games. Like, a large map for, say, I don't know, StarCraft 1 or 2 would be like, maybe this. Like, this is a 40 kilometer by 40 kilometer map right now. This is 40 kilometers. Which is quite large. Very large indeed. You don't really get that in a lot of real-time strategy games, which makes Supreme Commander very unique. Just on its own. Not a lot of games do what Supreme Commander does, really. And don't you say Planetary Annihilation, because I will lose my mind. So I think we'll just continue on. I'm going to make another engineer. Also, another thing that makes Supreme Commander unique to other real-time strategy games is the fact you can reclaim wrecks and things of that nature to get mass and some energy. So right now, I'm just telling my engineer to attack move. How you do that is you go Alt and Shift, or just Alt, and that will tell the engineer to attack move without actually attacking. Or Alt and Shift will do waypoints. You can do that, or you can do it on patrol. Very robust sort of system for units, which again you don't really have access to in a lot of RTSs. Actually, you do have access to the attack move waypoint system, but you can't like change your waypoints like this. Like once it's set in stone, that's pretty much it. Nor does like the waypoints even like show up the way it is right now. Like look at this. Look at that. It's not neat. Yes. Okay, so let's continue on. So right now, it's also pretty automated too, so the engineer will just automatically detect whether it should bother reclaiming resources or not, or it'll start. Or it'll just go back to reclaiming the resources, I should say, once I'm at like halfway. So right now I'm at +9, so it's not going to bother doing that. It's not going to reclaim anything. So this is a good time to probably start producing some more land factories, some air factories, that sort of thing. So we're going to do that. I don't think I need to build that fast, so I'm just going to allocate just one engineer to this. I'm not in a rush. You know, the enemy's way down here. I have 2 allies. They're in the front. I can take my time with this. I'm not worried at all. So what I think I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to get to tier 3, because that's when all the interesting stuff happens. So look how many units you get, though, in Supreme Commander. Of course, these are all modified. A lot of these are modded in, of course. But still, you don't get this amount of sort of variety in a lot of real-time strategy games these days. You get maybe like this would be like the unit roster of one RTS game, or maybe even this. That would be your unit roster. But this is just the land factory, remember. You also have like the unit rosters of, say, the Navy and the Air factory as well. Not only that, you also get tier 4, which gives you access to experimentals, which are massive, big, stompy creatures that just ruin the whole entire battlefield and just dominate it. Very fun. I probably need more power. Oh, he's at tier 3. Alright, so might as well just upgrade this to tier 4. I probably, oh, actually no, I don't think I can, because if I do that, okay, yeah, that's minus 200 per second for the yield. So I'm gonna need to get to need a power plant. or something, or at least upgrade this to tier. You can also upgrade your hydrocarbon. What's hydrocarbon? Hydrocarbon plants are basically like mass extractors, but just for power. You put this sort of hydrocarbon power plant on here, and then you can upgrade it. Again, this is only available to the Loud project with all the mods activated. I'm going to assist the construction of this. You can also assist the construction of things by placing engineers on them. Engineers are probably the most important unit in the game, bar none. They increase the build rate of things, they build things, they repair things, they reclaim things. Very important unit, I would say. Never leave home without it. So right now, this engineer is assisting the build rate, the build capacity of this Tech 1 hydrocarbon plant. And it'll get to tier 2 and produce more power, and then get to tier 3 and produce even more power, and then it can make tier 4 advanced hydrocarbon, which produces a yield of 2 mass with 6,750 power. That's quite a lot. Might as well just click on it again. So as you can see, I'm kind of jumping up and down. This is a little bit dangerous, and as you can see, my economy is also going down pretty quick here. So I'm going to need to put a lot more engineers on the reclaim. And when they reclaim, obviously the rate will go down. It will mitigate the rate that the mass is going down by. It's kind of what you're looking for. So I'm almost at tier 3 already. I'm going to produce 3 tier 3 engineers, and that'll give me access to all the tier 3 buildings. And then I'll make a tier 3 power plant, which produces 2,300 power, which will bring me up to the point where I can start getting to tier 3 mass extractors pretty quickly here. You can also, thanks to a couple mods I also have installed as well, that are meshed with the Loud project. This is a Black Ops mod, so you can also, almost like real-time strategy, almost like an RPG, you can buff and increase the stats of your comm. So if, say, I want to put cluster missiles on the back of my comm, I can do that and make him shoot nukes eventually, or maybe a shield, and make him do a bubble shield. So a bubble shield will just have a shield, but it's like in an area. Or maybe I want to increase his radar and give him a teleportation, or maybe I just want him to have a stronger build capacity and have like these flying drones that build their own thing. And that's just for the back. So we have his right arm. Maybe I want him to shoot an antimatter cannon, maybe I want him to shoot torpedoes, or maybe a Gatling gun. Or maybe I want him to do combat engineering, where he shoots a flamethrower while having more armor regeneration and more health. Or maybe I just want him to do improved engineering and have a greater build speed and whatnot. I might just do that. It's probably a good idea to pump everything into build speed, especially if you're in the back right here. Not a lot of action right now. Everything's just getting warmed up as we go on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a power generator right here. Actually, probably a good idea to make 3. So right now my mass is going down at 6. I think I should have enough. Let's check the cost here. 10,000. Okay, I don't think I have enough. Let's take. Okay, so that's 14. But let's also look at the time. So the time at the bottom right here, if you can see my mouse, so that will take 12 minutes and 30 seconds to build. Yeah, so that's another thing about Supreme Commander is the more powerful units will take longer to build. So games can last, like right now it's 20 minutes, and any other real-time strategy game, the game would probably be over, but we're just starting off still. So this is a very much slow burn sort of real-time strategy game. So if you're ever in the market and you're like, well, I would like to play a real-time strategy game that wasn't over within the first 10 minutes, then maybe pick up Supreme Commander. Maybe you'll get into it and maybe enjoy it and get into the modding and all that good stuff. Yeah. So what you end up doing is how you increase the time it takes to build is you want to throw in maybe another engineer. So basically, throwing in 2 engineers will divide the time by half, right? I mean, think about it this way. So if one engineer takes 12 minutes and 30 seconds to build 1 power plant just on its own, 1 tier 3 engineer, Then if you throw 2 on there, it would have to divide the time by half while increasing the cost by double, right? And you put a third one on there and also divide it again by 3. So that's the basic logic. Do you want to get the power plant or whatever it is you want out there quickly at the cost of, well, it costing more, or do you want it to be able to be produced more slowly but take a lot longer to produce? So that's basically the decision you have to make there. So right now I can say produce this thing, which will take 2 minutes and 35 seconds, this Tech 3 Iron Fist Armored Battle Bot. Or I can do this. I like these things. Let me just stop building. This is my favorite unit in the game, honestly, as a UEF. This Juggernaut is basically a Baneblade from Warhammer 40k, if you understand the comparison. It's got like 8 guns on it. It's quite fun. So right now, I'm in the red. You don't want to be in the red, especially for producing these things. This takes 12 minutes and 30 seconds, so if you're in the red, it'll increase the time it takes to build something, I think, by 50%. So that's not good. We don't want to be in the red ever, especially in this situation. So I'm going to produce this one tank because I want to show it off to everybody. It's fun. Actually, I probably can't even build it. I don't have the mass for it. Yeah, I need to start upgrading this. God, all these decisions. So this is actually almost at tier 3. So I'm just going to stop building at tier 3. This support, go back to supporting that. Okay, build up. Okay, so that's upgraded. Yeah, I'll take 10 minutes to upgrade that, 10 minutes and 45 seconds to upgrade that to tier 4. So I am going to go to here, advanced, get you on there, get you on there. So if you want to know what the build capacity is of each engineer, like what's the rate of the building, it's the bottom left, that number 5 right there. I'm not sure if you can see it on your screen. I recommend full screen if you want to know what I'm talking about. So on that engineer, you can see it says assisting, it's HP, it's a little portrait right there, and it says number 5 at the bottom. Like if I take this guy off, see that number 5? That's its build capacity. So that's the rate from which it builds, like the speed. So obviously, the higher that number, that means the faster it can produce things. So here's the little Baneblade Juggernaut. Very nice. I wouldn't say I like its texture, to be honest. It's a little bit too drab for me. It's a little bit too basic. I would like it if it was more like this texture, a little bit more interesting to look at. So we'll just go to attack move, just to show it off. So as you can see, it has missile launchers, it has pontoon guns, 2 of them. It has these dual Gatling guns, it has flamethrowers, and it has a giant plasma cannon at the front. It's very fun. It's a very nice weapon platform, I should say. And it's also amphibious, and it has its own shields that regenerates at a very decent clip. Very nice weapon platform, I think. Very decently long range as well for tier 3. Like, compare the range. So here's the range of like a little Tech 1 light assault bot, like right there. Let's just put him right there. Look how big that size is. So if you want to know, like, well, how big is like a human in comparison? So let's look at the feet of this armored command unit. So this is basically the height of a human right here, if you want to compare. That's the height of a human. So visualize the feet being like right here, so the human would be like up to here. So yeah, this is basically a Baneblade size from like Warhammer 40k. So like the human would be like right in here then, like right in the Mech Marines little like cockpit right here, right in the head. Yeah. So yeah, that's like, look at the size here, size difference. Look how small this guy is. Yeah, right there. Alright, fine, don't do it then. So look at the range difference. It's practically triple that range. Alright, so we're at advanced now, so I think we do have enough to afford 1 Tech 3 power generator. Also, I think it would also be a good idea to... Should I... Yes, I can afford it. Yes, so I'm just going to leave that guy there, and then I'm going to grab EU and support that. because I have 3,905 mass in the storage, and to upgrade to Tech 2, did I not upgrade it? Yeah, I'm upgrading right now, I think. Let's just stop. Do it again. Why not? So if you see the cost right there, 3,500 is the cost as far as mass storage goes. So I have 3,905. So if I poured like 100, engineers on my ACU that was upgrading to Tech 2, it wouldn't matter so much because I have the mass to support it, so it won't be in the red. Assuming I'm not like building anything else. So this is actually kind of perfect what's happening right now. So there. It's going up at a decent clip. Alright, minus 19. I don't know where that's come from. Where's that minus 19 coming from? Here, this is what I'll do. I'll put these guys on patrol so they'll just automatically start reclaiming. And then once that's built, I can upgrade that even further and get like 3,900 power, I think, around there. Alright, so I'm getting 14 back again. So let's just check out the fighting here. So this is the AI. These crushers are actually the business. They do 88 damage per shot. That's pretty powerful for a Tech 1, let me tell you. Those are frigates right there and submarines. Again, this is the naval game I'm showing off right here. Bombers. Oh, we're getting a little bit of a skirmish happening right here. Oh, so that's where their naval yard is. So right now we're doing a UEF versus Cybran. If you don't know who the UEF are, it's basically like the United States, and the Cybran are basically cyborgs. So they're like robots. And these are like, I don't know, like the United States of America, kind of. If that's the best way I can sort of explain it to you. There are also other factions as well. There's the Aeon, which are basically a religious faction that worship aliens, and there's an alien faction called the Seraphim, which want to dominate all life in the galaxy and destroy everything that is non-Seraphim. So there you go. You'd think the Aeon worship the Seraphim. Some of them do, some of them don't. There's a civil war, and no one wants to be like food for the Seraphim, and there's a big scuffle over that, where some people want to be the food and some people don't want to be the food and whatever. I mean, there's obviously a stronger story than that happening, but it's just right now I don't want to give a whole entire synopsis. So I'm just going to upgrade this to Tech 2, or the Tech 4 I should say. Right now it's at Tech 3, but once I upgrade it'll be technically at Tech 4. Right now I'm at Tech 2 with my comm. So as you can see, you have access to Tech 2 all the way to Tech 4. This is your template. So what you do, how you make a template, is you basically do this. Let's say I like this shape. I like this. I want this to be a template, this sort of wall shape. These are walls, by the way. So you grab this, click template, save template, go to here, and there's your template. So that way you don't have to make super elaborate little things. You can just, create your little super elaborate thing, then save the template, and then you can just build it. Isn't that neat? That's another thing that a lot of real-time strategy games don't have, is the idea of like saving a template. Something very unique to Supreme Commander, I find. We also can destroy our buildings and get the reclaim back if we so desire with Control K. So as you can see, that's the self-destruct button right there for all those walls. Oh no! And then we just send our little guy here and he'll start reclaiming the walls, I think. No? Maybe I have to do them manually. I don't want dirty walls in my base. I like it clean, for goodness sake. Things must be clean. Gonna get an air factory up. So right now, yeah, 3,900. So that's pretty strong for a Tech 4 advanced power generator and storage, by the way. We're gonna upgrade that to T2, and we're gonna make some air transports. So what's also unique about Supreme Commander is the way they do air transports, and that's a ferrying system. If you played other real-time strategy games, you'll know that transporting troops is a hassle, because you have to like do 50,000 clicks before you get like a full sort of loop going. But what Supreme Commander does is it takes that and basically divides it into like one click, basically. So I'll show that off to you in a second here. Let's just get some troops going, some maybe light assault bots, get an air transport going. That's Tech 2. You get 3 techs of transport. You get the Tech 1 light air transport, get Tech 2, Tech 3. Obviously, the greater the tech, the greater the cost, and the greater the time it takes. So it takes 16 seconds at 100 mass and 4,536 power, and this takes 14,000 for the power and the 408 mass. So that's pretty much like triple the cost. But you can carry a lot more, obviously, and you also have an air fuel. So you saw that for a second. That's 4 minutes. If your planes run out of fuel, then they can't fly as fast. And if you know like flying, I'd imagine a dogfight, you want to go as fast as possible in order to stay ahead of the battle. And that's another thing too, is the way the air game works. These fighters, they behave and operate like real fighters would in real life. So they spin around, they fly around in a circle, they try to get behind the target, that sort of thing. It's not like they just sort of like stand there, sit there like they do in other RTSs like StarCraft, for example. Well, that's just the basic loading function. So let's show off the ferry function. So what you want to do is you put your little air transport, you know, where your little starting point, like point A, is going to be. And click ferry, where you want to unload, let's say right there.
Commander, the enemy is attempting to transport land units near your position.
That's a glitch, ignore that. And then you have this beacon. So basically, whenever you just right-click on that beacon, and you want some troops over here, it will automatically, the troops or whatever, the units will automatically go to the transport, and then once the transport is full, it will automatically lift them to where you want them to go. So it cuts down the clicks and the time it takes to ferry troops back and forth or wherever by like an astronomical amount. I'm so surprised that no other real-time strategy game has, if nothing else, has taken the ferrying system. Like, holy fucking, like, I swear, because it just drives me crazy. It drives me absolutely crazy when I see real-time strategy developers not taking good ideas from Supreme Commander, because like honestly. Let's also get some recon. That's a recon plane. Recon is very important in Supreme Commander, Recon and Intelligence. So I don't know if I can show you this. So this is a radar dish. As you can see, the relative vision is very small. So how you find out if like troops or enemy troops are coming into your base is with radar. So the way the enemies pop up, maybe I can show it off to you. No, I can't. So basically how enemies pop up on your screen is they'll appear as like little gray diamonds, and you don't know what these gray diamonds are. They could be Tech 1, Tech 3, Tech 2, but they sort of implore you to investigate the issue, which you use with, say, the Tech 1 air scouts or any other sort of flying or troops or whatever you have available, just to see what's going on. So that's just the ally pinging where the commander is, the ally AI. So that's what you want to do. So this is your little radar right here, this little blue line wrapped around, that's the radar. This is a sonar, a lot smaller. So what we do with this, guys, we use it to scout out enemy movements and commanders and that sort of stuff. and bases just to see if like maybe they have like strategic missile launchers happening or whatever. Just to keep us up to date, just to create a picture of the battlefield so we're not blindsided by the enemy. Again, this is like a 40-kilometer map. It's probably a very good idea to want to be able to scout things out. So we're getting a small skirmish here. These are Wagners. These are amphibious tanks. They have 2 weapons. They have a rocket launcher and little plasma cannons at the front. Those are gunships, just taking them out right there. With their little machine guns. Very strong. I say that, but they're not taking them out relatively quickly. And another thing that's also very unique to Supreme Commander is the fact that the projectiles in the game are simulated, so they actually exist. They actually exist. So what does that mean? So if you played a real-time strategy game where you're doing micro and you're just sort of like avoiding the enemy, well, the micro in Supreme Commander is actually a thing. Like it's a real thing in the sense that you can dodge bullets, you can dodge shots, you can dodge artillery. So if you played, say, StarCraft and you're going up against siege tanks and you're like, well, I can't deal with those siege tanks, they just instantly kill my army. Well, the siege tanks, air quotes, in Supreme Commander won't kill your army, assuming your army's staying mobile, relatively mobile. I mean, the artillery shots will home in on your army, don't get me wrong, but if you're staying mobile and you're deking out the enemy artillery back and forth, being very micro intensive, you can avoid a lot of shots if you're very good at the micro in the game, which can give you that edge that will take you, over, in a scenario where you're going army versus army and one army's just sitting there and your army's, maneuvering back and forth, trying to get into position. Another good reason why... Oh no, another thing that you can use as well is the environment to your advantage, because the projectiles are, again, simulated. So you can like hide, say, artillery behind the hill and have like little troops up here, and they'll try to shoot your artillery, but they won't be able to because they'll shoot into the wall or shoot into the ground. So you can use the environment to your advantage, where you can place like a turret up here, like right on the crest of the hill, and maybe wall it off a bit, and then the enemy, when they fire on the turret, will just shoot the wall, not your turret, and the turret will just shoot the enemy. Now you're probably thinking, well, won't the turret just shoot at the wall? Well, no, because you can shoot through your own stuff. There is a collision detection, but you can't shoot through the enemy's stuff, their buildings and their units, but you can shoot through your own units and buildings. So you can use that to your advantage. So let me just show it off here. So as you can see, he's shooting through the building. So if this were an enemy building, the collision detection would go off, and I would just be doing damage to the building, not to the ground here. Some might say that's a little bit but I don't know. I guess it's okay. I guess it's okay. You know what, let's try to get into the fight here. Try to get something started. I'm going to take these guys, my little Mech Marines. Another interesting thing, a little quirk about Mech Marines, is that when they're put into transports, they can fire out of the transports, turning them into pseudo little gunships, which can do quite a lot of DPS if you get a lot of them in your little transport. Oh, this is a good opportunity to test out, to show it off to you. So these are Wagners, I think, going by the projectile shots, and that's artillery right there, Tech 1 artillery. Yeah, right there. Medusas. So here's my transport coming in now, and there's some Mech Marines and some Tech 1, some just little baby things. They won't be able to take out this little scouting force right here, but I think I'll be able to with my Mech Marine army. So there's the Mech Marines going. That's a lot of DPS right now. There you go. So yeah, very powerful little things you can do in this game if you know what you're doing. I'm just going to continue to upgrade here. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I think with that being said, I think I'll stop right here. And I think in the next video, I think I'll just continue on with Supreme Commander, just this one match maybe even more. We'll see how people like it. Maybe we'll continue on, make this into a thing as well with my other projects going on with on YouTube. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for watching. And if you like videos like these and want to see other videos like them, be sure to like and subscribe. And if not, I understand. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.